Universal Audio Apollo Twin mic pre, and that helps as well. So this is a.
You said S as in Sam, M7B as in boy.
Yeah, it was at the time like 300 used when I got it, which again, like this was 20 years ago. So like I saved up for several months, and I was not making very much money. I was the facilities manager at said college. And I think the last time I told somebody that, they were like, oh, and they picked up a microphone stand and used it as if it were a mop to make fun of me. They're like, you are a facilities manager. So if you can picture that in your head. But yeah, if this ever breaks, I got to get another one. And I hope it doesn't because, money.
Yeah, because who has $300 as I write it down?
I don't know, man.
Well,
I'm gonna try to drink off mic because I don't know if you heard it, but like every time I take a sip on this thing, it's like yeah, every time. Like I had an interview yesterday, and
you suck too hard.
I mean, it all depends on the other person, right? You gotta switch up your game to make sure that you're pleasing your partner. So that's why communication is key, Brent.
I'm on the.
No, we're done.
Never.
We're done.
I mean, I don't think it's that kind of podcast. I'm just saying, like, if you can't love somebody else, unless you can love yourself. So once you're comfortable in your own shoes, then that's when you can open up to communication and spread love.
Hey, brother, I love everybody.
I mean, with protection, man. Just be careful out there.
From a distance.
I'm gonna go off the rails so much in the next 30 minutes.
All right,
let me do
let's
the
get into
intro.
it because he has a tight cutoff. So go.
Tight cutoff.
Shut up.
Brent would have done really well on the set of The Office. He would have done magnificent.
Yes. Oh yes. Well, I mean, I get it though. I'm a lot like him. I just try to be nicer on the podcast.
PG-13. PG-13.
I'm failing. It's fine.
We're okay.
I should have drank. Go ahead.
Are we ready? Here we go.
Let's do it.
East Coast. West Coast. No coast. This artist has no bounds. With a sultry voice that would make a boy band cry. Live, bearded, from the Shire of York. Brooks of York.
I love it. I like the part about making a boy band cry. Like I got very concerned because it was like there was enough pause between that would make a boy, and I was like, "Where are you going with that, buddy?" and then like boy band cry. I was like, "Oh, that's good. I'm gonna steal that. That's really good." And I couldn't tell. I was like, I couldn't if you make it up on the spot or you you got some notes off to the side.
No, I made it up earlier. But the funniest part about this intro is I wrote it before I listened to the songs.
I love it.
And one song I was like, this is a boy band song.
I can't wait to get into that.
So how's it going, brother?
I mean, I'm here, still kicking around, still trying to release like a song a month. So, when work in the world is not getting in the way. I don't know if I'm going to have like a solo one for this month. Like I've got one that's like almost done, but yeah, it's tough, man.
Oh, I know.
Since 2025 has been fucking fantastic for all of us so far. Anybody in the great US of A.
It's a party.
It's a party.
It is a party.
P-O-T-T-Y.
There you go. That's more accurate.
How have you been maintaining balance in order to keep the creative juices flowing?
That's a great question. I mean, music for me is mostly therapy. So I'm at the point now where I'm like, if I don't write, if I don't put something out, then I'm just going to be consumed by everything else. Like there's always family, right? So like the kids are dope. Like they're chaos, but they remind me to kind of come down and be a human. But, at work, as I'm sure you guys do, it's like you mask up pretty hard, both like literally and like metaphorically. Right. And just try to create boundaries there. Cause like boundaries at home, it's more just like, hey man, I need you to clean up your fucking room. Like, oh my God, please just clean it up. But
for the love of God, take the dishes from the sink and put them in the dishwasher.
I'm just like, I don't want to look at dirty underwear on the floor. It's just put it in the dirty clothes. But you know, like the family stuff is like pretty mild. It's just kids being kids and trying to work through that. But like it's really like, you know, the rest of what's going on and then work, like getting texts from your boss at like 11 p.m. asking you to look up some dumb fucking thing. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, why?
I was off the clock at 6. Don't text me.
It's like I'm fine for like things that are a little early, things that are a little late, or just like, hey, I want to get this to you so you don't forget about it. It's like, yo, that like at least like in the world like that I work in, it's like that's what a fucking email's for, man. Like, you know, I don't like it when people text me work shit, you know, especially if it's late. I'm like, yo, if this is important, don't text me. I was like, because this is just purely conversation.
So boundaries.
You should have replied and said, I'm flattered, but I'm already married.
I waited because I know he stays up late, so I waited to reply until 5 a.m. when I was up.
Good for you.
And then I did the instead of just the full reply and send, I was like sentence, send. So even if it's on like
it's like ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
You are a dick. I love that.
It was fuck in you and it's just like dude, don't do that. And I made sure to hit him up like, you know, super early in the morning and a couple more days down the line as well. It's just like, we can play this game.
And he's like, why are you texting me so early? Why are you texting me so late? I have children. Let's talk about, yes, the annual mint harvest.
Yes, the annual mint harvesting.
Thank you. The music for that, I really liked the background. Was the children laughing yours?
Yeah. So
nice.
I made sure that all 4 were represented. Like it started, or at least like the sampling bit of it. 3 of them were outside, like on our porch, and they had like brought a bunch of blankets. And they were having like a picnic / like sleepover, but it was midday, whatever. They're like full on imagination mode. And I walked over to go get them, you know, bring them in for lunch, whatever it was a Saturday. And I heard them talking. And I just stopped. And you can't really hear it on the recording, but like the stuff they were talking about was just like super cute. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna show this, you know, to my wife later and send it to my mom so she can hear them conversing. And so when I was like sitting down, you know, a few weeks later with the song, I was like, in this part, like I need something else. And I found a few samples that worked. And then I was like, let me try dropping this in. And it worked really well. So then I went back through like all my videos and like audio notes. And I was like, do I have any more of because like only 2 of them were talking, even though 3 of them were there. So I recorded a couple more conversations. Well, actually a lot more than that, because I was like, I want it to be natural. I didn't want it to be like forced. So, you know, a few days later I had enough and I was like, let's sit down and, you know, put it in. And I made sure to kind of like filter it out to where like you could tell it was a child, but like you couldn't really tell what they were saying. So
yeah, if
you are the person the song is meant for, my wife, you know, she would get it and go, okay, that's that one. So that's where that kind of came from.
I like this one. I thought it was interesting. I automatically, as soon as I heard it come on, I thought Space Odyssey kind of song.
All right.
And the bridge to me was very powerful. So I'm going to say the first few sentences and then I want you to finish it. Would you do that for me?
I'm going to try.
Well, actually, I'm not even going to say the first. I'm going to say like a few words and then I'm going to let you do it.
Okay.
I follow you every time.
Oh, you're quoting the lyrics. Oh,
that's Brett for you.
Unless I have them in front of me or the song's going like, and this is any song ever, I'm like, I can't do it. If it was like a
Michael live,
I don't.
Never.
With this outfit, no. I've had like a couple opportunities to. But the last opportunity, the guy was like, "Oh, you can only show up and just sing over your backing tracks." And I was like, "It's not that kind of vibe. Like, I need to have at least like one other person to accompany me." Yeah. And he was like, "Yeah, we can't do that." And I was like, "I'm not gonna go then, because I'm not gonna be like a 40-year-old dude on stage like trying to dance with a backing track." I'm like, this is gonna look ridiculous.
Why would
like
you
Wonderwall on Molly?
You're a 40-year-old dude. You don't dance.
I mean, I can dance. It's just
you
not
bring
very
up
good.
The kids. Let them dance. So anyway, this is I wasn't able to make out all the words. So here we go.
So yeah. Do you want me to say it to you? I pulled them up.
Yes.
The end piece of the bridge is I'll follow you every time and move mountains to ocean sides and lose myself like we're back in time. I do was never a question of how or why. I just knew. So I think the lyrics are like fairly obvious in terms of what it's talking about, but I wanted I wanted it to kind of be like a run-on sentence. Mm-hmm. So, like you get to the end and it's a one line, but it's actually the beginning of the other. And speaking of high school, like my English teacher would hate that. But that's the fun thing about, poetry. It's like you can do
I thought the pauses were pretty cool and witty because if you listen to it, the music, the way you did it, the music is playing a whole line, but you're doing what you said. You're starting basically the words of the next line on the previous music. And so that's kind of neat how you do that. I like people that do that. I guess I like you. But I like it because it's creative and it's a new way of, it's like a new way of hearing music, a new way of exploring what a song's about. And because if you listen to I Follow You Every Time and Move, if you just stopped right there, it could mean one thing. But then if you go I Follow You Every Time and Move, melting to ocean sides, it can take on multiple meanings.
Sure.
Because of how you phrase it. So I thought that was neat. So my question has nothing more to do with the music or the vocals. It has to do with how do you, when you have so many effects on your vocals, how are your vocals still so clear and crispy? I mean, it's crazy. I was like, I know he has like 8 million effects on this one right here. 'Cause you kind of have swirling vocals sometimes around you.
It's mostly vocal layers. So like it's a stack, right? The predominant effects I use in my vocal chain, like I've got like one that it's like in between like a compressor and some distortion. So it's just like it's slightly on. It's like it would be like if you're playing a guitar through an amp, right, and you got that natural breakup happening, like that's kind of what I'm going for in the vocals. And then there's a slapback delay. And that's really it. Now it's a stereo slapback, so it's usually like 8th note in one and 16th note in the other. And I'll roll off some of the lows so it doesn't get like too muddy. But that's really it outside of compression. So like compress the shit out of it, and then I warm it up a little bit, get some natural breakup, and then you got the slapback. But like it's usually a lot of layers. So there's I think at that point there's probably like 2 or 3 harmonies that are both like doubled and like panned hard left and right. And there's probably like a secondary vocal line in there somewhere that's just kind of like in the mix that you more feel rather than you hear. But yeah, I mean, I haven't touched that session. I don't know, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it's been.
You do a good job of keeping your stuff getting mucked up, because normally when you add, it's like when you add 5 guitars to a track and you add 5 vocals or 5 bassists or whatever, you have to be really careful not to step on the different parts and stuff. Yeah. And you do a good job of avoiding that. And I think you use different frequencies too. That's what it sounds like to me. Like you make sure that one part is not occupying the same frequency of another. And you do that well. You may do that without even trying, which would make me think I hate you. But, you know.
No, I mean, it's definitely deliberate. As I've gotten further along in this project, I don't outsource any mixing or mastering anymore, so I have to do it myself, primarily because I just don't have the money to anymore. Like the way inflation's going, like I'm like, all right, that's no longer in the budget, because like I could like get it mixed and mastered, or I could go buy groceries for a couple weeks. So so in terms of like EQing stuff, like it's people like go all in terms of EQing, but I'm like, I do like a high pass filter on a lot of this stuff, and like depending upon where I want to like start it. But if you solo any of those vocals, you're like, oh, this is like kind of thin. But to your point, like if you just stacked them all without cutting anything out, then it gets like super muddy. So yeah, I mean, it's super deliberate. I want everything to shine as much as it can, but like at the end of the day, if the song doesn't sound good, if the mix doesn't sound good, then the song doesn't sound good. So.
I'm not tender all the time, but for me you timber. Bend me back and forth till I finally surrender. I get anxious every time when I lose my center. Push me back in line till I finally remember you said, don't lose it, don't lose it, no, cut excuses over time. No, I need to let up. Turn me straight into the eyes, pushing me to step up. I stop breaking over mine, though I'm tired and fed up. The way you speak to me, I can't help being swept up. You said, don't lose it, don't lose it, no, you said, don't lose it, don't lose it, no, I follow you every time and move mountains to ocean sides and lose myself like we're back in time. I do. Never a question about why. I just know.
Yeah, your mastering on both of these songs is good. I was like,
Yeah.
nice. It's
I wouldn't-
fat.
I wouldn't send it out to have it done even after you have money, because honestly, you do
Yeah,
a
you
really
do a
good job.
No, I appreciate it. And
Yeah.
listen, like so I just started so the other song, Don't Let Them Know Your Face, like that was mixed and mastered by two guys, and like I would use them like every time if I could. But the last two songs I released were just me. So like, I'm finding it like ISE Annual Mint Harvesting, like that was a little bit easier because there really were no drums until the end. And even still, when I listen back to it, I'm like, that could have been bigger. But that's just kind of where I'm at. But I'm glad you guys liked it.
Yeah,
I
I
liked
think
it.
Sorry, I think it stands up well against the other song. Don't let me know your face, or
I know.
don't let them know your face. Whatever the hell.
Don't let them know your face. Yeah, it's I'm realizing now that those two tracks back to back in terms of like trying to say the names is like that's a mouthful.
Why'd you
Why
do
did-
that to me?
Yeah, I mean like
did. Really?
Yeah,
like,
why
I'm gonna
did you
fuck it up.
put all that?
so I mean like those two songs in particular for this, because what I've discovered is from like the newer batch of stuff, Don't Let Them Know Your Face, it tends to be the most popular one.
Yeah.
And then the newest one is the annual mint harvesting. So I was like, well, let's go with the most popular one that I think is the most popular.
Good.
And then with the newer one.
Well, so what are some other songwriting? Sorry, Brent, we're out of time. What are some other songwriting things you have been trying that are new since the last time we spoke?
I've just been getting like more and more synth heavy, and I'm like not afraid to just use a 4 on the floor like all over the place. I'm like, if it's meant to be upbeat, like that's, you go back like 2 years ago, I'm like, I can't use the same drum beat ever. I'm like, that's dumb. It's like, yes, you can. Maybe not the exact same one, but if it's like, oh, this feel is similar to this other song, at least in terms of rhythm or at least in terms of drums, it's like, all right, let's do it. So like, there's been a lot more synth stuff, a lot more like 4 on the floor kicks. But I've been trying to like mess with like more stereo spacing, using more samples so I can like create more interest and like also kind of switch up what I'm doing. Normally what I'll do is like, the foundational elements are me, and then like the sugar or the frosting on top it tends to be samples, or I'll pull from it, or I'll use it and then I'll drop it and replace it with something else. So it kind of gives you this co-creator like / collaborator feel without having another person in the room. And then, you don't have that either like difference of opinion or just like shit personalities where you quit the band a year in. So that's working with samples has been kind of cool in that regard.
How have you been utilizing social media this year for promotions of your music?
Poorly. The traction I got in 2024 was pretty good.
It was great.
But like 2025 so far has been pretty bad. And like honestly, like we had it was like a 24-hour ban or not even on TikTok, and then when it came back online, like everybody
switched it up.
Yeah, everybody noticed it. Yeah, and so it's been like really weird. Like I'm still, I could still like spam post like the same like style of thing where it's like words on the page, and I'm there. Yeah. And I'll get like 1 or 2 people to stick around, but it's not nearly as fruitful as it was. I've been switching up, that kind of style. I've just been on there just talking about whatever, just trying to be a little bit more personal.
It's been but you were going strong on Instagram. You still seem to be doing okay over there. Yeah,
so like I actually deleted my old Instagram, on my initial Instagram, because I wasn't.
How did I miss that?
It was like a month ago.
Okay, that's how I missed it.
Yeah. Because I just wasn't getting any real traction. And I was like, okay, like I got the bulk of these followers throughout COVID and lockdown. And as I went back through, I'm like, there's so many of these, they're either inactive or like they're just not real anymore. And I was like, all right, let me just start fresh. And I started fresh, and it's been like nothing. I'm like, damn.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you're always on my feed. Always.
Well, that's good. I mean, and I've had people say like, hey, I haven't seen you in months, or like have had people go like, hey, I just had to refollow you like on TikTok.
Yeah, there was a lot of refollowing that had to take place after the ban, whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, I try to stay active on there. I was live a lot more, but as the world and work has gotten worse, it's like I just don't have either like the energy or because like most of the lives are pretty cool. Like people come on, there's a lot of support. I end up getting like a lot of new people by way of doing that. And I also know that like if you go live more on TikTok, it also helps to feed your page in general, and the algorithm favors you for that. But some days I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody, even if they're going to be super nice. I'm just drained. I'm like, I want to go to bed.
And that's what you should do. That's the balance we were talking about earlier. Brent, do you want to start talk about the next song?
Yes. Let's talk about Don't Let Them Know Your Face.
So do you guys want me to tell you how these songs got their names?
Yes. Because it used to be the kids said something, right?
Yeah. So it still very much is.
Okay.
So the annual mint harvesting was actually the one line that my wife contributed to in terms of the never-ending song title potentials, because we were in the car and we were with all of our children, and we were driving, and they were like, yeah, when we get home, we're going to go to the mint bushes, and we're just going to we're going to pick all the mint leaves and make big tea. We're going to do a big mint harvest. And my wife's like, yes, the annual mint harvesting. Because like when they go out there, they don't just pick like a few leaves for some tea, which is fire. They get like big bowls of it, like big mixing bowls. And you're just like, what are we going to do with all this? And, you know, so like we're in the front, you know, I'm driving, she's next to me. She's like, oh, yes, the annual mint harvesting. And I was like, that's fucking fire. I'm using that, you know, because in my mind, I'm like, it still counts. It's an interaction with the kids. And I was like, I didn't know how I was going to use it. I was like, that's too good. But no, you're going to say something.
I was going to say, whenever I first saw it, I was thinking, this might be political. And then we got into the lyrics, and I was like, well, this is not political.
No, it's
but
not.
I was thinking, what a great name for a political song.
That's you know what? I mean, opportunity missed. I mean, most of the political inspired tracks just kind of get like straight to it. But yeah, that one was just like super innocent and I don't know, like wholesome.
Sweet. Yeah, it was Space Odyssey-ish. It's like everything's open kind of thing, kind of feeling. I thought.
No, I'm glad you dug it, man. I started writing that song late 2023, and I just couldn't get the second verse down, and it took like lyrically, and then finally it started to come together, and I was like, all right, cool, I got it. We're like a few weeks away, but don't let them know your face. So I was getting ready to leave for like a work trip or whatever it was, and I'm by the front door, and my second eldest is staring out at the window, and she knows that I'm getting ready to leave, but she's like looking out as if, you know, she's waiting for something. I was like, what are you looking for? She's like, oh, I'm looking for the whoops. And I was like, the what? She's like, you know, the whoops. Oh, she's talking about wolves. She couldn't say it. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, I gotta go. So you like want to give me a hug? She's like, oh, be careful, Daddy. And I was like, okay. And she leans in, real creepy like, and she goes, don't let them know your face.
Oh God.
I was like, fuck, man. I was like, God damn. And like as she's hugging me, you know what I'm saying?
She's too much.
Yeah, man. And so I have two kids that say super creepy shit to me like that. Like it's said in a way where like they're trying to help, you know, like they're
right, but it comes out in the little kid voice whisper, and that makes it creepy.
Yeah,
it makes it creepy.
It does, and
really.
It got me, and I was like, okay, and I was like, I'm gonna be late, but I have to write this down. So, you know, when it came time, I was writing the song, and like I heard like the intro line in my head, and I started writing it, and like I started writing the vocals and lyrics like super fast, and you know, I had like a short list of songs, song titles. I was like, hey, let me get this, and so I'm outside. This is like probably like 2 years later when I actually started writing the song, and I had it playing. And I was singing, like I had the track at the demo track at the time. I had it playing, and I was pushing one of my younger kids, and my second eldest was there with me, and I was singing along with it, trying to like, you know, flesh it out a little bit. And she's like, "Is this your song?" I was like, "Yeah, this is my song." She's like, "I like this." She doesn't give compliments.
Aww.
So it's like when she tells you she likes something, like she's not. I mean, not that she's a mean kid by any stretch of the imagination.
No, but like it means something.
Yeah, like so, like it was legit. She's like, I think this might be my favorite song of yours. And I was like,
fuck yeah.
I'm gonna go cry now. So you know, it was like later that night or whatever it was, because the lyrics were like coming pretty fast, and I was going through the list, and I have kids' names next to each thing that's said, and so I was going down, and I saw that song title, and her name was next to it, and I was like, that's it, 100%. Done.
Yeah, it was a sorry, my meds.
You're gonna
meds are not.
We got time.
My meds are not great today. Today is not a good day.
Okay.
It was a pleasure to hear the song the full way through, because I've heard like bits and pieces of it on social media, but it was really, really nice to hear it from beginning to end. And yes, I know you're my friend, and I should buy the music, but I'm poor.
No, you're fine.
So,
don't even.
So it was like really, really nice to hear it the full way through. It's a really well written song. What is it about to you though, outside of your daughter?
Sure.
Giving you the idea. So
the song, the lyrical content itself is the end of a relationship.
Okay.
And I wanted to be very, you know, pointed and deliberate for the person it was about, so that when they heard it, they knew it was about them. But I also wanted to make it so that, you know, if somebody else heard it, they could still connect with it. You know, they could apply it to,
Yeah.
you know,
Right. It wasn't like you were calling out, you know, Joe Schmo.
yeah, it's like,
You were-
fuck you, Joe. You know,
You
it's-
weren't doing that, really? It
but,
sounded like there was a whole bunch of fuck yous in there to me.
a little bit.
But gentle. But they
Yeah.
were gentle.
There was nothing gentle about that song. That was like, that song is like taking someone's face and rubbing it against a cheese grater. Not how it sounds, but the intent behind some of the lyrics. And now I'm
yeah.
going into my description of it before it's time. God
That's okay.
damn it.
Well, we only have 5 minutes, so go into it. Brian.
I
You only have 5
I
minutes.
texted my wife. We're good. We got a little bit longer. We're okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
no.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peabody.
I thought that was gonna go somewhere else. I'm glad it didn't.
No. No, now he's just doing shit like that to you on purpose.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm trying to find the lyrics so I can pull them up.
Oh, he knows. He knows I have lyrics.
He already knows.
So
Brent picks apart a song. He listens to it for the first couple times for pleasure, and then he's like, okay, now let's dive in.
now let's get to work.
Which
No,
makes him a
it's-
great person to send music to, by the way.
You
Oh,
Also
no,
makes him
I-
a terrifying person to send music to.
Well, no, it's like I dig it because like your analysis are awesome, and I've been able to pull from things that you have said and like, oh, that's dope. Like, you know, I might be able to like use some of that as like a descriptor later on, or like even like the TikTok stuff. It's like if you like things that sound like "fuck you, Joe Schmo," not that, but you know,
Mhm.
Oh, you
um,
should use that.
No, you shouldn't. No, he's not. That's not his. He's cheese grater guy. He's not fuck you.
cheese grater guy. This is
Cheese
this.
grater.
that-
There's your
that-
next song.
that's-
Cheese grater guy.
I'm just
Write
gonna
it
use
down.
the. I'm just gonna use that when this comes out. I'm just gonna pull that. He's cheese grater guy, and then the song's gonna start playing.
You should be with the cheese grater.
Like literally making quesadillas.
Different types. Here's
I mean,
one.
I've
Here's
got
another.
I've got a cheese grater with the 4 sides, so you get like, you know, you can get like super coarse or
Nice.
super fine. Yeah.
different types of cheese.
Did we lock you in a dumpster once? Anyway.
So you want to hear the funniest part for me of this song was
Let's hear it.
the first second or two, I was like, this is a nursery rhyme. Because the way it hit, but it was like for a second, and it's so weird that I was like, 1 second, nursery rhyme. And then all of a sudden
Oh.
it goes poppy and bouncy, and I was like, I was off on that, but I felt the nursery rhyme thing like the first second, and then
Well,
it
there's-
just went away.
Well, there's like a chime in there that's kind of
Yes.
like it for me. I was like, this is like, you know, activating the song almost. Because yeah, like before the drums come in, it's like this very like bubblegummy but soft like sine wave, like playing with the delay, and that was the part that I heard in my head. And normally I don't hear like a line in my head in terms of like musically. It's just like I get the urge to like sit down and I have to play. I have to go play now. But when I sat down, I was like, I hope I can like actually figure this one out. And I did. I was like, oh, cool. This is like exactly how it was in my head.
Yeah, I was going that first second. I was going one direction, and then I was like,
Whiplash.
and then I thought about my intro, and I was like, that's kind of funny. This sounds boy bandish.
can
And
see
then I
that.
just wrote an intro with boy band stuff in it. The other thing I liked a lot was the vocal grit you chose to use. You distorted your voice more than normal on that, in 2 or 3 places. My favorite, and you have really good vocal distortion, and I have a question about that later. on.
Okay. I'm here. For it.
My favorite lyric is, you need to finish it.
Okay.
I can meet you in the middle for a pack of.
Eyes.
That's right. Your silence speaks in.
Ifs and riddles.
Yes. That's asking for a fight. That is just like, boom. I was like, he's trying to whoop somebody's ass.
Well, it's the relationship itself, you know, and I think I think the lyrics call it out, but you know, I really did everything I could to keep it intact and be like, hey, like this is a hard line for me, you know, this is really where you're at, like I can't be here, and I think that person did not like any type of ultimatum, whether it was warranted or not. Because they did not like feeling that, you know, they had to make a decision. And, you know, ultimately the end of that relationship was because they chose to be neutral. And I don't believe in neutrality. And so I was like, all right, man. I was like, we like from a moral standpoint, we disagree like fucking crazy. I was like, so that's it. But I left that last conversation with him and I was like, listen, I was like, I didn't call you to put an ultimatum to you, but he was like, well, that's where this is going. And I was like, why don't we just take a pause, think about some of the stuff I've said to you, because I wasn't like threatening him on that last conversation. I was like, why don't we take a pause? Let's come back to it in a few days. And I didn't call him, he didn't call me, and I was just like, all right, that's it, like that's the answer, which like sucks, but at the same time, you know, I started like, you know, as I think you do in hindsight, right? You go back and you analyze that conversation and the one before it, and it's just like, why am I still fucking here? But yeah, that's where that song came from. But yeah, definitely looking to say everything that I wanted to say, because I knew he would hear it. So, and I'm fairly certain he did.
I think, you said a lot and you didn't stop. You just kept saying stuff. I was like, holy shit, there's going to be a fight here. There's going to be a ruckus in Brooks of York.
No, I mean, that as tends to be the case, right? Like, yeah, because I've cut a few people out of my life. The circle keeps getting smaller. And at some point you kind of go, well, the common denominator is me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Could I be the problem? And I'm, you know, I've
asked my therapist that. If that makes you feel any better. Is it me?
But and like, listen, I get it, but I think, you know, the day and age we're living in, I think especially as you get older, you view things differently, and it's like, why am I still hanging out with this person if I don't have to? Because like there are some relationships you can't get out of, right? At least not yet. And I was just like, nah, this is all the shit that bothered me. And it was, you know, it was a lot more complicated than just that one conversation and me kind of, obviously, you know, keeping it vague here. But yeah, I as music tends to be therapy for me, it's like I was like, all right, let's just fucking go all in. And if there was still a bridge to be there, let's fucking light it on fire.
That's my favorite thing.
Well done.
Thanks.
Did it.
The bridges I burn shall light my way.
Yeah.
I've been starting on your peace and quiet. Everything I'm standing on is radicalized. Call it ultimatum cause you won't pick sides. I can meet you in the middle for a pack of lies. And that's just the fire going out. I tried to show you how to hold on, but your silence fixing its riddles. You dodged the point for too long. Excuses led in whereabouts, but I'm not the problem, I'm gone. You only commit to not committal, and I'm not afraid to move on. I'm not an artist, but I'm drawing hard lines. I'm not getting famous, but I sleep at night. And the fear has always been there, though we'd like to deny it. No one's asking you to save him, but you're so damn quiet. And that's just the fire going out. I tried to show you how to hold on, but your silence fixing its riddles. You dodged the point for too long. Excuses led in whereabouts, but I'm not the problem, I'm gone. You only yourself any excuse that you think's fair. But the truth is you're just placating to a fault. And that's just the fire going out. I tried to show you how to hold on, but your silence fixing its riddles. You dodged the point for too long. Excuses letting whereabouts, but I'm not the problem, I'm gone. You're only committed, not committal, and I'm not afraid to move on. In her truth, it wasn't important in the field.
Your vocal distortion is really nice. Why don't you do that more often? I would like some more, please.
No, thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's interesting. Like in the band I was in years ago, and I'm still like best friends with the guitarist that I wrote a lot of that music with. He would say, he's like, hey man, he's like, when you get in the like that guttural side of your voice and like you like yell, sing, you know, it's still like it's still like got, you know, harmony or
Still in key.
right. He's like, I love that. But some of that on this song in particular, it's like, you know, I did it to like emphasize the emotion.
Yeah.
But like I was overdriving the mic pre. And, you know, I did a couple takes and I was like, that's the take. And like, I'm looking at the waveform. I'm like, that is clipping. And I listened back to it. I was like, but it sounds good. I was like, fuck it. And then, yeah.
No, it was good. It was good use of it. I knew why you were doing it and why you were choosing to do it when you did it. It's just, I was like, I want more of this, please. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, bring me more.
No, I hear you. And like, you know, obviously in a song like, yes, the annual mint harvesting, that's not really going to work.
No.
But, yeah, I mean, it's why like, I really like the drums, like the drums on this. I think half the drums on this were a sample and I was like, this is it. This is driving. This is good. And like, there were a lot of things coming together and I was like, this is cool. But I'm also finding that like a lot of the music I'm working on now has more of a drive to it. You know, and if I'm singing about anything that's got like some angst or anger to it, yeah, duly noted. I will start messing around with that more. And I think I did crank up the little distortion bit on this a bit more. Like it's like it goes from like 1 to 12, but I'm always sitting at like, you know, just under 1. I think this one was probably like 1.5. So it was a little like a tad more.
Yeah, but you actually guttural used some of that grit you actually have.
Yeah, I mean, and like I wanted like some of that like, I don't know, like gang vocal kind of style in there, like without it being like over the top, right? Because like if you listen to the melody on the chorus, it starts off like just kind of in like my talking voice, and I was like, well, I need to accent it with something, and so there's you know like the background me's, if you will. But yeah, I had fun trying to figure that one out.
That's
so thank
good.
you.
I liked it.
Do you have any new plans or new co-writes or new things coming out this year?
So I've got one song that I'm working on that kind of sounds like, you remember when Coldplay first started going like kind of dancey, kind of EDM? Like they're not EDM,
yeah, like,
right? But
but they definitely did a swing.
Yeah. So like it's in that realm, like kind of by accident. And that's not an angry song. It's about my kids. But it's definitely like heartfelt, and I'm looking like, you know, when I look at the lyrics, I'm like, if my kids ever hear this when like they're in their 20s or 30s, they it's either gonna be one of two reactions: this is fucking dumb, or like teardrop. It's gonna go either way, because it might be like too corny, too cringe. So I'm working on that. I actually just sent over a bounce of a song to Artemis for his Go Servo project.
I need to have him on with that.
Yeah.
Side note.
Definitely. I like his song Little Circles. I loved, and like the day that came out, I just put it on and I was cleaning. And if you just select like one song in Spotify, it'll just repeat it. And I was just going at it for like 25 minutes. I'm like, oh. And then I hit him up. I was like, hey, by the way, I don't know if you did this on purpose. I was like, but this thing loops perfectly. I had no idea.
I didn't even know it stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got one of those with him. I've put, me and Paul Bill Jr. have done 2 songs together. He's primarily like an R&B kind of like pop artist, with like definitely like undertones of soul. And I put a couple other things to him, like, hey man, if you want to make the 2-song EP, a 3-song EP, let me know. But I think that's probably it in terms of like, short-term collaborations. I still have like a bunch of works in progress that I'm trying to figure out which one I'm going to do next, because there's like 4 or 5 songs that are probably like 70% done. So it's, people are like, how do you like write these songs so fast? I'm like, I don't. I just pick up from an existing project and then just like spend a few weeks finishing it, and then just kind of keep doing that. But like, there's always something interspersed where it's like, I call like all my works in progress is usually like a palate cleanse, where I'm like, I get the urge to sit down and write something, but I don't know what it's going to be. And I'm just like, let's start from scratch and see what happens. So there's always something that I'm like kind of going back and forth on. This month has probably been the longest that I've ever actually taken a break from writing anything. But once, Artemis hit me up earlier today and was like, hey, like, here's the current bounce I have of this track that I gave him stems to probably like, 2 months ago. And I was like, it was like hearing it for the first time. I was like, all right, let's get back to work. So that's kind of like reinvigorated me. I think I answered the question.
Yeah, you did great.
Okay.
That's fine.
Cool.
So where can our listeners find you again?
I am on all streaming platforms. So if you buy your music on Amazon or Apple, I'm there. But fuck Jeff Bezos. Otherwise, Spotify is where most of us kind of go, even though they don't pay anybody shit. But if there's a streaming platform you listen to, my stuff's there. If you want to find me, I'm on all social medias under Brooks of York, and then there's a nice little link tree that you can.
Yeah, it was a link tree will be below. Yes,
yep,
for sure.
Yep, 100%.
Thanks for joining us tonight and listening to us and hanging out with us. We appreciate it that you log on and check us out and see how we're doing, make sure we're doing all right. If you really enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, share. All right, so anyway, y'all guys take care. Have a good evening. Remember to make some noise.